Greetings, my name is Lance Bell. I will admit, I did not plan to even talk about the death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, but what I have been seeing this week and what was said on Thursday, I have some things I have to say about it, and you're not going to like it. Now, before I begin, here's what President Obama said in his remarks.
Good evening, everybody. For almost 30 years, Justice Antonin Nino Scalia was a larger-than-life president on the bench. A brilliant legal mind with an energetic style, incisive wit, and colorful opinions. He influenced a generation of judges, lawyers, and students, and profoundly shaped the legal landscape. He will no doubt be remembered as one of the most consequential judges and thinkers to serve on the Supreme Court. Justice Scalia dedicated his life to the cornerstone of our democracy, the rule of law. Tonight, we honor his extraordinary service to our nation and remember one of the towering legal figures of our time. Antonin Scalia was born in Trenton, New Jersey, to an Italian immigrant family. After graduating from Georgetown University and Harvard Law School, he worked at a law firm and taught law before entering a life of public service. He rose from Assistant Attorney General for the Office of Legal Counsel to the judge on the D.C. Circuit Court to Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. A devout Catholic, he was the proud father of 9 children and grandfather to many loving grandchildren. Justice Scalia was both an avid hunter and an opera lover, a passion for music that he shared with his dear colleague and friend, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Michelle and I were proud to welcome him to the White House, including in 2012 for a state dinner for Prime Minister David Cameron. And tonight, we join his fellow justices in mourning this remarkable man. Obviously, today is a time to remember Justice Scalia's legacy. I plan to fulfill my constitutional responsibilities to nominate a successor in due time. There will be plenty of time for me to do so and for the Senate to fulfill its responsibility to give that person a fair hearing and a timely vote. These are responsibilities that I take seriously, as should everyone. They're bigger than any one party. They are about our democracy. They're about the institution to which Justice Scalia dedicated his professional life and making sure it continues to function as the beacon of justice that our founders envisioned. But at this moment, we most of all want to think about his family. And Michelle and I join the nation in sending our deepest sympathies to Justice Scalia's wife, Maureen, and their loving family, a beautiful symbol of a life well lived. We thank them for sharing Justice Scalia with our country. God bless them all, and God bless the United States of America.
Now, before I begin, I want to make one thing totally clear. I know that he was a slug. You have no argument from me about that. I have issues on what was happening when the news broke. As an example, I was on the Facebook page Politics with Jared and Dave, and this exchange says it all. Now, folks, I have no patience for disrespecting the family of the dead. Like I said, this was not very progressive at all, you saw in the comments. What if that was one of your loved ones and people saying some of the things publicly that is being said now about him? You wouldn't like that. You wouldn't be very happy, would you? Would you? You know the answer to that question. Also, I have to rip the Congressional Black Caucus, On Thursday, G.K. Butterfield, speaking to the New York Times, was directly quoted as saying in regards to the Republicans refusing to even bring it to a vote until after elections, it is more than a political motive. It has a smell of racism. And even continued, this is just really extreme and leads me to the conclusion that if this was any other president who was not African American, it would not have been handled this way, You really want to go down that road of playing the race card? That could backfire big time this upcoming elections. My advice to you, Mr. Butterfield, is to keep your mouth shut. Now, you may think that I am giving Republicans a pass. You would be dead wrong. Now, my server that I used for my videos was not up this week, but what I saw what was going on in the media in general. Now, I will say that the blowout coverage was piss poor at best, and I'm being nice about that. But conservative outlets are basically calling him the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's just wrong, and you know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Also, I'm going to go back on my word about not saying anything about Alex Jones on this show, and I got to outright blast you. How in the world can you even fathom that he was murdered? Please tell me and my viewers why. We would all be interested to know. The only reason I even bring that up is because I have been seeing videos pop up all over the place. Here is one from Jim Beckwith, and you can see in the video and in the following, along as he reads, the article, what I mean.
From Now the End Begins, it says sudden death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia descends into conspiracy. Scalia's remains were discreetly driven by van overnight to an El Paso funeral home with an escort from a procession of Texas Department of Public Safety troopers and U.S. Marshals Service vehicles. Why would a dead body need all that protection? Judge Scalia's death to be ruled a heart attack. The more we learn about the sudden death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, the more that the whole thing grows more and more suspicious. First, a seemingly healthy Scalia dies unexpectedly in Texas, but amazingly, no one wants an autopsy. Then, under the cover of darkness, his dead body is whisked away to be embalmed before anyone can examine it. Why would this be? Lastly, Judge Scalia was found with a pillow over his head, as if he had been suffocated to death. We discovered the judge in bed, a pillow over his head. His bedclothes were unwrinkled, said Poindexter. He was lying, interesting name, he was lying very restfully. It looked like he had not quite restfully. A person who is dead is lying restfully. Well, let's see, anyone who's dead, you could say that about anyone. Why would you say a person is resting when they're dead? It looks like he had not quite awakened from a nap, he said. Scalia, 79, did not have a pulse and his body was cold, and after consulting with a doctor at the hospital in Alpine, Poindexter concluded resuscitation would have been futile. He then contacted federal authorities, at first encountering a series of answering services because he was calling on a weekend.
Are we to that point in this country that we are so morally bankrupt that people actually believe that is true? We're better than that in society, or at least we should be. Like I said in the beginning, let's have some respect to the family of the dead, and you keyboard warriors and video makers should be ashamed of yourself.